Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about how to take care of your friggin' books. I don't know why I got on a kick of saying friggin' books at the beginning of every video. I just think it's funny because I'm dumb. So, honest to God, I have always had books. I've always been a reader. I try to take care of them as best as I can. I dust as often as I can remember to. But I've never really known the right way to take care of books, I guess. I just thought it was interesting and something that I haven't really seen people talk about on BookTube a whole heck of a lot. But as most of us are book collectors, I figured, hey, maybe some people will appreciate this. I mean, it's stuff you can Google. That's what I did. But I figured I'd make it into a little fun video. Fun being subjective. So these are just some tips, some do's and don'ts that I found by scouring a few different articles. I kind of just combined all of the advice. So hopefully some of you find this helpful and informative. So probably the most important thing, it seems, is the temperature. So your books should be in a location that is a comfortable room temperature, about 70 degrees, cooler being better. You don't want it to be too much moisture or too much heat. And so that's why a lot of these articles were saying that storing books in a basement or storing books in an attic, those are bad things. Those are try to avoid those. Too much heat or moisture is just gonna speed up deterioration, and it's definitely going to speed up mold buildup. So I was gonna show you this process, by videotaping the process, just for funsies, but now my boyfriend is home and he's downstairs and I don't feel like going down there and whatever, disturbing him. But basically, if you do get mold on your books, you can pop them in the freezer to kill the mold. And now my memory fails me. I think it's overnight you're supposed to leave it in there. And then you should be able to dust it off and wipe the mold off. Now, if you have a book that gets smelly because of any mold buildup or mildew or anything like that, what you can do is get a Ziploc baggie and put some baking soda in it, put the book in there and leave it for a few hours, and then take the book out and just dust it off, wipe it off, and you should be good. Another key thing, and this plays into the temperature, of course, is to not ever have your books in a position where they are getting direct sunlight or other kind of intense light. So my books on this wall here would get direct sunlight if I left my curtain open. So I have to keep that curtain closed because it is not good for your books to be under direct light. And obviously that's going to create fading as far as the color of the covers and all of that as well, which is not what you want. Books should not be up against exterior walls in your home. This just plays into the whole temperature thing. If you have your books, I'm in Arizona, if my books were up against an exterior wall, yeah, I might have the AC on, but that wall it's 115 degrees in the summer. That wall's gonna be hot. So my books are gonna be getting some weird heat situations. Another thing which kind of plays into keeping your books away from direct light, also just direct heat. They shouldn't be right up against a radiator or a heat vent. If you have a heat vent that's just blowing hot air right on your books, that's a no-go. So dusting. Dusting is definitely something you should do. And like I said, it's something that I've done as often as I remember, and I try to do it, about once a month or so. But apparently there's a very specific way to dust. When dusting, what I used to do is just use a Swiffer duster and just brush it on the books. Apparently, the correct way to dust your books is to go ahead and pull them out and be sure and just use a cloth, just a clean cloth, and dust from here out. If you're dusting this way in, you're creating buildup over at the spine, and it can get back in behind there and just cause deterioration over time. So you want to make sure you're wiping from here on out. Books should always be stored upright whenever possible, and if they're not on a shelf that's full, you should have bookends keeping them upright. So I'm failing over here right now. I don't think you can see it, but I have some that it's not a full shelf and they're kind of leaning a little bit. Or of course, if you want to lay them like flat, stacked on top of each other, that's fine as well. You just don't want to ever put them with the spine being like the pressure point, basically like spine up, which I don't know who would do that, but just don't. So you should not pull your book like this. If you do this over time, it's going to pull on the spine right here. So what you should do is grab it from the middle and pull out like that. Do not ever force your books to lay flat open with 180 degrees. You should not force them to do that. If you're ever doing that where you have them open, you should have it propped up on something. If you have leather-bound books, many leather-bound books, smells of rich mahogany, you should not use oil or leather dressing on the leather binding. The best thing is simply to wipe with a clean cloth. If you ever have torn book pages, do not use tape like this. Just regular Scotch tape or any other kind of just basic tape is pressure sensitive essentially and is not good for book pages. There is special book tape you can get, archival tape. There is also a more detailed way of mending book pages using like wax paper and things like that. Certainly look that up if you want to get into it. Otherwise, you make sure you're using archival tape, book tape specifically, or if you ever need to put, like if pages get actually torn out from the spine or something and you need to put them back in, you can glue. Again, be careful, watch the video and follow the instructions carefully, but you also need to make sure you're using archival glue, not just normal glue. Okay, those are all of the do's and don'ts that, again, I'm sure there's more and there's more detailed information out there. You can Google it. That's what I did. But I just thought it might be fun to have the video up. You know, if you didn't know, now you know. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.